Close your eyes and listen to a drum kit from 1991. It doesn't just sound like music, it sounds like weather. It's a thunderstorm inside the room. There's a physical weight to it, a slight chaotic push before the chorus and a pull during the verse. Now listen to a modern rock track from today. It's loud, it's clear, it's perfectly on time, and yet it's completely dead. Most people think drums died because of digital recording or lack of talent. They blame the Loudness War or lazy drummers. But the real reason is far more surgical. It's a secret revolution in music production that didn't just clean up the sound, it deleted the ghost in the room. Today, we are going to look at why perfection became the enemy of rock and roll, and how a tool meant to fix music ended up killing its soul. Drums really give the listener a sense of where a song has been recorded and where it's taking place. In the 90s, recording, you weren't just capturing a performance, you were capturing a physical event in a physical space.
Both Chris and Kurt had big ass amps and they were going through the PA as well as the vocals, and Dave did not need mics on his kit. It was so loud and powerful and intense. And I remember they played Teen Spirit, and I kind of heard it on the boombox but didn't really get it, and I just started walking around sweating, going, oh my god, play it again.
Think about Dave Grohl's performance on Nevermind.
Like, and you wouldn't know it if you go, here's a snare, and then you go back to start, whoa, dude, whoa, it's like 2 pitches up. He beat it so hard that the drum just had to submit, you know.
He wasn't playing to a click track, he was playing to the feel of the band. I would prefer to have them try to play live, although not necessarily all in the same room, so that they are interacting with each other and can accommodate each other's little changes in emphasis and timing. In music, we call this micro-timing.
So I'm always very constantly aware of what the arrangements should be. There's also feel. I mean, just being a drummer, it's sort of knowing how a track feels. And not just the drums either, the bass player, the rhythm guitars, the phrasing of a singer.
A human drummer is never perfect. They might hit the snare 5 milliseconds early to create excitement, or drag the kick drum just a hair late to make a groove feel heavy.
Drum editing, I was just like, oh my god, Dave Grohl is a machine. He told me years later doing Wasting Light that when I asked him to play with a click track, I broke his heart.
In the 90s, these weren't mistakes, they were the groove.
Yeah, I think part of that came from me being a drummer, knowing like microseconds where a beat was going to be. It depended on the tape machine also, because there was a certain sort of ramp between the erase head and the record head. Some machines were very forgiving, some were not.
If you tried to fix a 90s drum performance, you had to use a razor blade. You'd literally cut the magnetic tape and tape it back together. It was slow, it was dangerous, so for the most part, we just let the drummers play. But then something happened. A software update that changed the world. In the late 90s, a tool called Beat Detective was introduced. It was marketed as a miracle. It could take a messy drum performance and snap every single hit to a perfect digital grid. Suddenly, you didn't need a world-class drummer with perfect timing. You just needed someone who could hit hard, and the computer would do the rest. But when you snap a drum hit to a grid, you kill the swing. You remove the human anticipation. You're turning a living, breathing performance into a MIDI file. By the mid-2000s, this became the industry standard. Every rock record had to be grid-locked. I always pay a lot of attention to when a drummer sounds good, and try to make grids adhere to the drummer, not the other way around. Producers became terrified of a drum hit being even 1 millisecond out of place. They thought they were making it pro, but they were actually making it sterile. When everything is perfectly on time, your brain stops perceiving it as a performance and starts perceiving it as a machine. That's why modern rock drums often feel like they are hitting a wall rather than moving through a room.
I'm going to say the position of the microphone is probably the second most important thing. Like, you should find a spot where if you're listening to that from that spot by ear, it should sound good.
In the 90s, if you wanted a great snare sound, You spent 3 hours moving a microphone half an inch. You captured the unique ring of that specific drum in that specific room. I sometimes will have the engineer replace the top snare mic with a sample, especially if the head bleed is too much. I don't replace the bottom snare mic. I leave that as a live performance. Modern producers realized it's easier to just delete the real snare sound and replace it with a pre-recorded perfect sample. This is the secret reason why every modern rock record sounds strangely similar. They're all using the same 5 snare samples. It's like a filter on a photo. It looks better at first glance, but it's fake. I like to be able to hear the drum kit as a single instrument, rather than as a collection of discrete sounds. It lacks the air and the bleed from the rest of the kit. In the 90s, when a drummer hit a cymbal, the sound would bleed into the snare microphone. This created a lush, messy, 3D soundscape. Today, we gate everything. We cut out the bleed.
Each of the microphones around the drum kit can hear the whole drum kit. So it's a mistake to think of recording the drums as recording individual instruments. It's like, I once referred to the drum kit as the bully's piano.
We isolate the instruments until they sound like they are playing in different zip codes. The final nail in the coffin was the Loudness War. To make songs sound loud on small speakers, engineers use limiters. It really no longer sounds like a snare drum with a very sharp attack. It sounds more like somebody petting on a piece of leather or something like that. This squashes the transients, the initial thwack or a drumstick hitting the skin. When you squash the transients, you lose the impact.
And we fight for 96K, 192 to get all this stuff so that we can have unbelievable dynamics, which is what an instrument does. You know, I want what an instrument does to be in front of me. And what it does is go from really quiet to really loud. And now that we have a noise floor that's non-existent or minimal, they've lost it because they can make it loud, just because.
A drum kit is a percussion instrument. It needs breath between the hits.
You can't reintroduce the dynamics once they're not there. Okay, the dynamics are gone. No matter how low or how loud you make it, those drums which used to hit you like this will now hit you like softer. Okay, so if you needed that to make impact, it's gone. It's not there anymore.
If you fill every millisecond with maximum volume, the drums don't hit you anymore. They just hum at you. We've traded the thump in our chests for a fuzz in our ears. So how do we fix it? The answer isn't to delete your computer. It's to stop being afraid of the flaw. Some of the greatest drum sounds in history, the ones we still talk about today, were technical mistakes. They were recorded in hallways, or with bad microphones, or by drummers who pushed the tempo because they were excited. If you're a creator or a musician, try this. Turn off the grid. Stop replacing your sounds with perfect samples. Let the cymbals bleed into the snare mic. Let the room breathe. You can still play with each other and collaborate and capture those magical human moments, but we are living in an age where you can manipulate or change any of that to make it sound any way you want. At the end of the day, we don't listen to music to hear perfection. We listen to music to feel a human soul on the other end of the wire. Stop trying to fix the mess. The mess is the music. So cut out that digital shit and make real music. Thanks for watching Just Listen.